What's up, guys? Jeremy Conn here with you. It's the Lowdown, brought to you by Pickdawgz. Make sure you check out Pickdawgz.com. Click the like, subscribe button. That does help us out. And if you click the notification button, it'll let you know every time one of these gets posted. Now, excuse me. Yesterday, I guess I should look at this in certain ways. Saturday wasn't a great day for me. I felt really good about the slate, and I still feel a little slighted, swing and a miss on the Cubs over as the Red Sox couldn't get anything done against Shota. I had the Guardians over, which that ran through. I have it on Sunday as well. All two of those games went over, by a ton. I had the Phillies over. That took off. That was my bombs away play. We had some crazy games. I had the Dodgers, and then obviously you saw what happened in that game, or maybe you didn't. It got crazy. But the one that hurt was the Mets and Reds. I had the over in that as well. Great hitting weather, David Wright day or whatever. I feel like there were so many base runners in that game. It felt like there was like bases loaded the last three innings, twice for the Mets and once for the Reds maybe, or maybe I got second and third. I just saw some crazy stuff, and I was getting pissed at the beginning of the Philly game because they had second and third, no outs. And one of the strangest things you'll ever see, which made zero sense. Who was batting third? Was it Harper? Yeah. I think it was Harper. Anyway, somebody grounds out. Yeah, it's Harper. Grounds, ended up being a fielder choice, hits the ball to the shortstop. Or the second baseman. So he comes home, and then here's Trey Turner caught in the middle. They go to run him back. Kyle Schwarber's in between second and third. Schwarber goes to run back to second. They throw it to second. They tag him out. And for whatever reason, Trey Turner decides that he's going to half-ass at the home plate and take a few steps. And then they just run him down and tag him out. Luckily, Harper got the second. They ended up knocking him in. But these are the types of things that piss you off because it allowed Kikuchi to settle down. And he's done this before where he's thrown 30 pitches in the first inning and then all of a sudden shuts you out the next 4, 5, 6, whatever. That didn't happen. Thankfully, it went over the total. But, man, when you're watching those games and you see something that stupid, you're like, what the hell was that? Why would you just run back to third, let Harper take first, Schwarber gets tagged out. It's bad luck. It's what happens. And now you have one out. And they ended up knocking in, had a couple hits in a row. It could have been a huge inning. Game went over the total, so it doesn't matter. But, as you're watching those, they are frustrating. I did not touch anything in MMA, and I didn't touch the WNBA All-Star Game. I got to admit, though, I'm a basketball fan through and through. I love the NBA more than most people do. I love college basketball. I played college basketball. I coach basketball. It's my first love. I think I fell in love with basketball before I even fell in love with the girl. The WNBA, it drives me nuts when they talk about the pay gap. And I'm not one of those guys that hates the women and wants to see this league fail. But you guys are going to run your ass right into the ground with this nonsense of, hey, we deserve to be paid this. You lose money every year. Last year was the first year they even got close to making money with Caitlin Clark. And then if you saw what happened to the All-Star game, once Caitlin Clark was rolled out, the tickets went from $180 to $60, just like that. Because if you want to like it or not, or you don't like her, whatever, she is the draw. That's why they're playing in bigger arenas. But for everybody to come out and to wear those shirts, it's like, do you expect someone to buy a Kia Soul for the same price as a Bentley? The NBA brings in billions. You lose millions. Why would this be a thing? The NBA would be smart to say, hey, we're not doing this anymore, but that's not what they want to do. They're hoping that this can become profitable, but man, it's just such a bad look when everybody starts complaining about it. And yes, it's true. The women have to go overseas in the offseason and they actually make more money over there unless they're getting endorsements here. But they support women's basketball over there more than we do here. So until you get the type of support, you can't ask for that type of money. It's not coming in. It's just strange to me. But anyway, let's get to some of these games. I've told you before, I like to kind of tell you guys what I'm looking at and some of the things that happen. Let me find, where did I put all my work? This is funny as I lose my mind over here doing these sheets every day as I write everything down by hand and kind of go through it all for that day's slate. And, as we looked at the strikeout props, I was looking at some stuff for Clayton Kershaw's under on Sunday. Looked like an interesting play. Gavin Williams, his strikeout prop was almost a strikeout higher than what the prop was. So I took Gavin Williams over K's, even though I think could be a dangerous proposition. I love tacking the A's with strikeouts. They strike out quite a bit. The Angels, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, there's a lot of teams that just swing and miss so much. And if you're looking at the totals, we start looking at teams that strike out upwards of 8 times a game all the way up until I think the Angels are around 10. But as you add up over the season, that's a great disparity. The Blue Jays are the team that strikes out the least in all of baseball. Now, as I'm looking at those props, I like to write down what I'm seeing with the over for over 1.5 bases. The algorithm I use has that quite a bit, where I can scroll all the way over and see what their projected total bases are for the day. So I love this, and as I've said before, what I do is I write all those down, which I did here. You can't read it, but and then I write down all their prices. So, for example, like Sunday was Buxton minus 200. Can't bet it. Judge minus 150. I'm not doing it. Ohtani minus 155. Still not doing it. But here's where we get to the interesting guys, in my opinion. And you can go back and see how it worked out. Lindor minus 105. Cody Bellinger minus 105. Churio, that's Jackson, minus 110. Trout plus 110. O'Neal Cruz plus 100. Vlad plus 100. Teoscar minus 120. Teoscar Hernandez for the Dodgers. So I was all over the Dodgers-Brewers over on Sunday. I was on the Cubs under, as it looked like a good play. Not only the weather supported it, but I did like the pitching matchup. I think Horton's going to get better as the year goes on. So we'll see how that plays out. Anytime I'm saying this stuff, guys, the games haven't gone on, because you can see there have been plenty of times I've been really wrong on spots. But I like doing this because it gives you an opportunity to see how my mind works. But, for example, I love Churio. I love Trout. I love Cruz. I like Teoscar. I like Belly a lot. I like Lindor. Those are the ones that I would look at attacking. I'd rather get some guys plus money, but that's why I love Trout. Trout plays in front of that Philly audience, and I know he's a New Jersey kid, but he's a Philly guy through and through. He is, in both games, he's gone over 1.5 bases by a lot. Like, he started off, I think, with a double yesterday. On Friday, he hit a home run. So as I'm recording this on Sunday, I don't know what he did in his last game. It's a tougher matchup against Ranger Suarez, but I don't even think it matters. I just think he's on one right now. Look, he's one of the best baseball players that we've seen in the past 15 to 20 years, even though he can't stay healthy. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's get to these games for today, which I find very interesting. And there's some things that I wanted to note here regarding the wind. I will start it off with this. Mets and Angels have 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, so you can do with that what you will. If you like that, if you like the pitching matchup, there's a lot of things that I'm looking at for today where they don't have the pitching matchups. One game all the games that I have them, but the one game there is a TBD for the Nats. We'll talk about that in a second, but I had to talk about this game with what's happening with the weather in that game. So let's start off with the Yankees and Jays. This was something where the Jays, I don't know if you guys noticed this, the Jays beat up the Yankees back before the All-Star break. I think it was like a week or two before it. And Michael Kay had a really bad, a big issue with the Jays kind of talking trash and celebrating, bringing out the brooms. It's like, settle down, Beavis. What are you talking about? You're upset that somebody brought out a broom because they swept you? I mean, it happens all the time. I'm sure we can go look at the Yankees when they brought out brooms, but that's what you're whining about. So there is no love loss here between these two teams, and I'm sure it's going to get worse as the year goes on. But this is a phenomenal pitching matchup. Kevin Gausman's been fantastic. Talked about him before. He's reverse splits, so righties hit him harder than lefties. Carlos Rodon, he's been fantastic this year. It looks like he's finding himself yet again, and he's going to be thankful that it's only 75 degrees, so he doesn't have to change his jersey 4 times. He might only have to change it 3 with it being 75. That guy is a sweater. I sweat a ton too, but man, I wonder how many times in those hot games he changes his uniform. The wind is blowing in at 6 to 7 miles an hour, and you guys might say, well, it's a dome. Well, domes typically open up between 65 and 80 degrees with the retractable roofs. I can't guarantee that they're going to do that, but there's no rain in the area, so I would assume if they like it and they find it beneficial, it could open up. Either way, I think the under is a great play. I think Gausman's up for this game against this Yankees lineup. If he can work through, obviously, Judge and some of the tough spots there. Belly has been hitting better as of late. But I think the under looks really good. Rodon against this Blue Jays team. And by the way, the Blue Jays team is predominantly right-handed, so I am kind of bucking some trends here. Yankees lineup predominantly right-handed, and as I said, Gausman being reverse splits and Rodon being lefty, you go, and the Jays don't strike out a lot, I'm still going to take the under. I feel like this is a good spot. we'll get some Ks. We'll get some ground balls. I like the under here as my lean. On to the next game. It's the Reds and the Nats, and this is where the Nats haven't told us who their starter is, but I still feel comfortable talking about this game because Mackenzie Gore pitched on Sunday. So it's not Mackenzie Gore. And even though Soroka pitched, Friday? We had Mitchell Parker. This might be Jake Irvin or some sort of bullpen game. I haven't checked his health to see if he's okay. And I know right before the All-Star break, they started a Japanese pitcher, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. So we shall see who it is, but I don't care. That doesn't bother me. The Reds did a fantastic job without even seeing what happened on Sunday against the Mets. They won the first 2 games. They won on David Wright Day. They're looking good. Brady Singer's a guy that I look to attack at times, but I don't even know that I can here. With the Reds and Nats, the reason I wanted to bring this game up is that the weather's a little drunk. 80 mile an hour, 80 degrees there. The wind changes every hour. And it's not like it's a huge wind. It's 4 to 5 miles an hour, but it's blowing all the way in at one point, and then it's left to right, and then it's out. So I don't know that that's going to be beneficial or anything that we can kind of hang our hat on with how much it's going to change. But I like the way the Reds are playing. I'm going to give out the Reds as a lean here. I'll try to reiterate in the morning who the starting pitcher is to see if it's changed my mind. Maybe the weather has changed and we have something that's a little bit more sustainable and kind of know the idea, like which direction it's going to go, or is it just going to change the whole game? That's another possibility. But I would lean towards the Reds here in this matchup. Now, Red Sox at the Phillies. Now, this is a fun one. Wind in at 6.5 miles an hour. It's high 70s. The matchup is Walker Buehler versus Zach Wheeler. If you guys have heard me talk about Zach Wheeler, one of my favorite pitchers in all of baseball. I was actually talking to a Mets fan yesterday at a graduation party who was talking about the old days. Well, not that old, but when they had the best starting pitching in baseball with the likes of Syndergaard and DeGrom and Wheeler. I think Steven Matz was their worst pitcher in that grouping. And then, of course, Wheeler leaves, and you look at what he's done in Philly. He's just been amazing. One of my favorite pitchers to just watch work, and I think he mows down the Red Sox today. Walker Buehler sucks right now, so it's really hard. Like, I know people look at these games, and it's one of the toughest decisions of whether to stay away from a game when you have a great pitcher and one that sucks ass, right? Like, trying to figure out, could Wheeler be so dominant that if this game was going to go over that the Phillies would have to score all those runs? I'm assuming this is a 8.5 total. I'm not 100% positive. With the wind blowing in, high 70s, I think the under is a great play here, even with Buehler sucking ass, because if he's so bad, I think they pull him early. But, you know, the Red Sox really didn't swing the bats all that well in Chicago. This is without seeing what happened Sunday night, and with the way that the weather was Sunday night, I didn't expect them to swing the bats all that well there. So I look at this game, and I think the under is a nice play. I really feel like Zach Wheeler is going to mow down this Red Sox lineup, and Red Sox strike out a ton. I'm sure Wheeler's prop is going to be around 7.5 or somewhere in there. I'd still look at it just to see. I'm going to see what the algorithm says tomorrow or today as it is. This drives me nuts trying to do this sometimes because I don't want anybody – like I'm recording this what is this? This is Sunday afternoon. And and it's just funny because a lot of times I'm going to say yesterday and it'll mean 2 days before 2 days when you're listening to this, or today. I'll just try to get better at it as we do this. But yeah, I do think the under is a good play. As I told you, the Angels and the Mets, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. I'm not touching that game. We don't know what the pitching matchup is yet. The other game that had the pitching matchup was White Sox at the Tampa Bay Rays. Wind is out at about 6.5 miles an hour. It feels like the mid-90s, like 95 degrees. And I think sometimes it's more important to look at how it feels and actually how it is, because with humidity and things kicking in, it does affect these guys. I don't know what happens with the Rays and Orioles today. The game's going on currently as we speak. It's kind of a weird thing because, like, the Orioles, it felt like they were going to win on Saturday night. They were up 2-0 in the eighth and then blew it. And it's almost like, okay, you lost the last 2 games of the Marlins. You had that time off. You lose your first 2 games against the Rays. Both of them in horrific fashion. One, they just got tattooed. And in the second one, you had to lead the whole game. You had a great pitching performance by Dean Kramer, who I keep talking about it, guys. If there's a guy that you want to bet on with unders or bet on the guy, go look at his numbers since April. In April, he sucked. He's got an ERA in the mid-3s, and he's just been dominant. He's been going 7 innings consistently, 6, 7 innings, quality starts. So that's something that, I mean, he's actually pitching well. Charlie Morton was pitching well. Trevor Rogers, who's going today, was pitching well. The Orioles just can't hit. And this Rays team, Caminero, Aranda, Diaz, they just all went off this weekend. I think the over is a solid play here with Shane Baz and Sean Burke. Like, I'm not the least bit worried about Baz. He can strike out some guys, hits a lot of bats. Former first-round pick that really just hasn't figured it out yet. Maybe he will at some point. And Sean Burke, not the least bit afraid of this cat, especially with the Rays bats and the way that they've been swinging. Weather is supportive. And then on top of it, if you watch the White Sox this weekend against the Pirates, and even the Rays to an extent against the Orioles, but more so the White Sox, there were so many runs scored over this weekend in that series, and the White Sox bullpen is just taxed after Sunday. Well, I'm assuming after Sunday, but after Saturday. They used so many guys on Friday and Saturday that I'm wondering who they have available even for Sunday, so we'll see what Monday looks like. That would be today. So my free play is going to be the over in the Tampa Bay-Boston game. Guys, make sure you're going over, check out the premium plays at pickdawgz.com. You can pair me up with other cappers. You can check out the other guys. I mean, there's some guys, you can check the leaderboard, see who's killing it, who's been hot. I started to have a good week. Saturday was kind of a pitfall for me with how things went. I went 2-3, so it's not the end of the world, but no, I want to win. So I wanted to keep that streak going. That being said, I think Sunday's another day to start it up. And then on Monday, I'll have a bunch of plays as well. So make sure you're checking it out. If you want to hit me up on social media, it's at JConnSports on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. I would say this much too, just looking at the slates, we're going to have some more and more stuff coming in. I'm not a big preseason football guy. I mean, I'm going to miss a good portion of that anyways when that starts. But we will dabble and talk some football leading into football season. And then once that starts, maybe the podcasts are a little longer and I'll mix in some more or try to go day by day on how I'm going to break these things down. But I plan on talking about every football game, whether I'm on it or not, and maybe give you a lean or what I'm thinking on it. So that being said, guys, I hope you win some money today. Check me out again tomorrow when I'll be back. I'll post the weather results that the algorithm spits out this morning underneath. So if you don't see it when you see the video, come back. It'll be there. I've been posting where the weather leans according to the algorithm every single day. So there you go. Good luck, guys.